Twisted. Those were the words on this item when I first bought it for my 5-year-old cousin. A simple instruction that would go on to be more significant than I initially would have thought. Have you ever held a kaleidoscope? What may seem to be another ordinary child's toy actually has a little bit more about it. Because as you twist it and you turn it, new patterns are revealed. The ordinary becomes extraordinary. And what if I was to tell you that each and every single one of us is holding a kaleidoscope? No, not one made out of shiny mirrors and glass. This one specifically, is made out of algorithms, data, and intelligence. Artificial intelligence. With every update, every twist, every new app, AI continues to transform this very world. In fact, my very first interaction with AI was pretty interesting. So I was at home procrastinating on my B-Admin honors assignment back in 2023, and my dad sends me this link to a platform. It's called ChatGPT, revolutionary at the time. And I decided to make a profile and test it out. And of course, I had to prompt the most pertinent question of our generation. Who is going to win the coming World Cup? And at the time, it told me France appears to be the favorites. And it was at that moment that I realized that AI too can indeed make mistakes. As the great UFC fighter Dricus du Plessis once said it, "Hulle weet nie wat ons weet." But here's the problem. In my academic research, I discovered a gap. We're equipping the leaders of tomorrow with the skills of yesterday. Now the patterns are changing, and we have to inform ourselves through education and awareness. And I'm a big believer that education is the one thing that can take us from where we are to where we need to be. And for me, it has opened many doors. It has allowed me to go on radio weekly to speak about business and economics. And it's the very reason I stand before you today as a researcher in skills and enterprise development. Now, education is so important because, as I was saying, in my academic research, I investigated as to whether public administration curricula integrated AI competencies within it. And unfortunately, I found out that it barely does. In fact, AI competencies are only included in optional electives at times, but not core or fundamental modules. And this is a big problem, and I think we need to address it. Now, within my research, I decided to use AI as well through the advice of my research supervisor, Dr. Stella Lubinga. And I used tools like Atlas TI to help me with my research analysis. And I found it very useful. And it was through that I realized that AI is a change driver. And it is something that is not only to be reserved for computer science students or people studying engineering, but is a tool that we can all use in our various fields and academic disciplines. Now, in terms of AI adoption in the continent, South Africa is ranked first in Africa, but this is only a score of 52 out of 100, only about halfway to truly being AI ready on a readiness score. Now, UNESCO research shows that AI could unlock trillions for African economies. And it also shows that AI adoption is rising rapidly within the continent. But our organizations often lack the infrastructure and the skills needed to fully capitalize on this. Now, I believe that not being ready to utilize AI is a big risk to all of us. And we've seen it already with the rise of digital fraud and scams that appear everywhere. And there have been many examples, but one that happened literally to me came in the form of somebody sending me a simple video of what appeared to be President Donald Trump saying that he was getting rid of all sanctions on Zimbabwe. And it seemed to be believable, but then I blinked again and I saw made by AI in the top right-hand corner. Now, I believe that if you don't become ready to embrace AI and use it, we stand risk to much bigger and large-scale frauds through deepfakes and voice scams that have already started to infiltrate within our world. We need to be ready. The patterns are changing, and we need to be there to guide it. Because remember, in a kaleidoscope, if you don't turn the lens, somebody else will turn it for you, and you might not like the pattern it creates. Now, the patterns are changing, as I did say. But of course, when we first think of AI, the first thought isn't infrastructure or skills. It's jobs. It's the question of, will I still have one? Will my degree still even matter? And that's where the kaleidoscope decides to make a new pattern: employment. Now, a global study by the World Economic Forum revealed that oftentimes within emerging economies, people tend to feel more positive than negative about AI adoption and automation. But, and this is important of course, those who are employed in more vulnerable sectors where job retention is already a little bit of a risk tend to be more skeptical about AI adoption. And of course, this makes sense because if you're standing on shaky ground, the idea of a robot coming in and doing your work might feel like an earthquake. Now, I had this fear too. When AI first came into my world of research, I found myself wondering, what if it can research better than me? What if it can analyze data better than me? What if it can do my job better than I can? But then I started twisting it. And the more I twisted, the more I figured out that through using AI, we can get better at whatever we are doing. And that's by utilization, of course. Now, within this AI kaleidoscope, it is important to understand that skepticism when it comes to innovation is nothing new. Remember a few years ago when digital banking was making its rise? You'd have people asking the questions of, why use my card and tap when I can swipe or use cash? Everybody was in uproar when the tapping phenomenon came. But now almost all of us have digital banking on our phones and mobile devices. And that is because we mustn't be scared to adopt change when it comes about. Just like digital banking didn't make banks go away, AI will not make jobs go away necessarily. But I do understand there is a risk and there is a reason for concern. As much as it has brought about new fields like machine learning and data analytics, people in manufacturing and other industries such as consumer services are still at risk, and understandably so. But we must not be afraid to capitalize on the benefits that can come about AI integration into our different areas. And I believe this is the case within education, because I as a student, have been helped through the emergence of AI. It has helped me in terms of finding literature, even organizing basic tools and the different things that you need to strive as a student. AI has helped with that. So if AI can help relieve a little bit of that mental stress and the anxiety that can come with being a student, why would we not integrate it within our institutions? Why would we not capitalize on the advantages that it has? Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is a kaleidoscope, and we must not be afraid to turn the lens, because if we don't, who will? So my invitation to you today, twist it, don't resist it, embrace it, welcome it. Maybe we will be the change. Thank you.